Alright, so let's talk about the King's Indian defense today. Now, usually when we talk about this opening, we think about something like this, with d4. Black just fianchettos his bishop on g7, plays d6, and then kind of wants to play e5, f5, and just attack you here on the king side if you castle on this side. But today I will show you an interesting option to choose with white to surprise your opponent. And the option I'm talking about is without playing d4. Let me just show you how this goes. White played knight f3, and after knight c6 we played g3, bishop to g2, and it will all transpose. Here we will play castles, and after he plays g6 you can see that he's going into the King's Indian variation, and we will play with c4. That's the difference here. We didn't play d4, but we're playing with c4. Now, of course, he plays bishop to g7, we played knight s3, and he castles. Now, you might ask, why did we play with c4? What is even our plan here? Well, the plan is to expand our position here on the queen side, because that's where we should be playing. Our pawn chain is looking in this direction, which usually tells you that you have to play on this side of the board. And it's true, you have more space on this side of the board because your pawn is here more advanced, your pawns will be taking even more space here. And another point is that Black's pawn chain is looking at this side of the board, which means that he will try to play on this side and play f5, f4 and try to attack you here. And another important part of this plan is that you want to attack the opponent's pawn chain. And it's usually the best to do it at the core of it, at the base of his pawn chain. Now, the base of Black's pawn chain is here on c7, so our plan is gonna be to play b4, a4, b5, a5, and b6, something like this, to destroy his pawns here and create some weaknesses on this side of the board. So, how do we do this? Well, first we play rook to b1 with the plan of playing b4, of course. Now Black played a6, we played b4, and after knight to d4, jumping into the center, which is actually not that common, they usually play something like knight to h5, knight to e8, just to play f5 and expand on this side of the board, like we said. But here in this game, Black played knight to d4. We don't care, we just play a4, trying to expand here. He took our knight on f3, we captured it back, and now rook to b8. He was probably scared of this pin, or wanted to play something like this and couldn't because of the pin. So he played rook to b8, and now we just played b5. Of course, like we said, expanding on this side of the board. He played a5 here, maybe not trying to take on b5 and opening up this file so we could play like rook to a7, create some pressure here on this side of the board. So that's why he tried to keep things closed. But as you will see now, Black hasn't done much on this side of the board, which is where he should have played. He made all the moves on this side of the board where I actually want to play, so this really favors me. And I will show you how to punish this way of playing from Black. We played bishop to a3 with the plan of playing c5, of course. Like we said, trying to create some action on this side of the board. He played bishop to h3, we moved with the rook, and he played knight to g4. Finally moving the knight, trying to play f5 and create some action here. Now in the King's Indian, time is usually very important. You want to go along with your plan quickly before your opponent does it and destroys you. And here it's already really late for Black. So let me show you. I played c5 here, like I said, trying to break his structure on this side of the board. He played f5, expanding, and I played queen to b3, check. Just moving my queen on a pretty useful square and moving his king to h8 here. I'm also controlling more squares in the center here with the queen, so that's great. And I played b6 here. Now this is a really instructive move to play, because like I said earlier, we want to attack the base of his pawn chain to just destroy it. And now we also have some threats, like taking on c7. After he takes it, we take it on d6, we win a pawn, we also can then play d7 at some point maybe to attack his rook here, and it's really going to be an unpleasant position for him. We could also take it, and after he recaptures it back, we could play knight to d5 with the tempo, all that kind of stuff, and it's really annoying for black to play. So yeah, here he just played e4, sacrificing a pawn basically, and this is what they will often do in the King's Indian, trying to, you know, sacrifice a pawn to open up his pieces to get some sort of action going on. But here in this position, as you can see, everything is defended. He was too late to do this, and my pieces are just looking great. You know, I'm also defending this pawn on f2. I have my bishop here defending everything, so it's just great. Here he took on b6 because he was scared of this threat that I was mentioning earlier, and we of course took on d6 here, creating a powerful passed pawn. And we're still, of course, attacking these pawns on the open file, which are, you know, weaknesses. That's why we also played all these moves, you know, c5, b6, and everything. So now this position is looking really great for us, and we can see the power of time, you know, and how this opening can be really dangerous if black doesn't act quickly. So here he played bishop to d4, putting pressure on f2, but it doesn't really matter. We have a knight here that protects everything. And I played queen to d5 here, attacking the bishop. And it would be really silly to just move back, you know, after he went there. So he just played bishop to c5. After which, of course, we take the bishop. This was an important defender of the king, you know, as always, when you fianchetto your bishop and castle on this side, this bishop is really an important defender. And you will see why, of course. After he recaptured our piece, now the best move is to just take the knight on g4, basically removing the last useful defender of the king here, because if he played bishop to b2, which looks very dangerous for the king, like we said, his king is really opened up. He could have played knight to f6, you know, somehow defending for now. So that's why we just get rid of that possibility and take the knight here. So after he captures the bishop back, only now we play bishop to b2 check. And as you can see, the king can't go anywhere. And the only move is to just play rook to f6, which is really sad. And after queen to f7, of course, the next move is just going to be bishop takes f6. And we just win the queen and also the game. I hope I managed to show you how dangerous this variation with c4 can be against the King's Indian, and I hope I maybe inspired you to try to play this kind of a variation. Now I know that black didn't play the best moves in this game, but it was just to show how dangerous it can really be. Now I can also make more videos on this opening if you would like, where black plays better than in this game, which would be very instructive, of course, to see how white has to proceed in these kinds of situations. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you, of course, try this opening in your next game. And yeah, if you liked the video, please share it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.